What's going on, everybody? So we are doing our weekly review for this past week and what trades we took, what trades we. There were tons of other ideas out there, and the goal for this is really just for educational purposes. There is, we're going to talk about what the markets did this week. We're going to talk a little bit more about what happened with what we're planning for next week, anyway. So lots of different things we're going to wrap here. So let's kind of get started inside of it. Go ahead and share you guys with my screen real fast. And of course, I'm actually go live on TikTok, which is something new I'm trying out. And then, of course, on YouTube. So should be a fun time. Let's start with that. All right. So now that we're here, a couple of things we're going to unlock. So obviously, we're going to take a look back at the first of the week. We'll go all the way back to here just to kind of mark it up. So US 20 or 10-year yields, DXY, it's trending down currently, but I'm not going to count this out yet. We took a lot of trades actually based on the dollar this past week. So let's get into Bitcoin. So I have not traded a lot of crypto lately, just not been in my forte. But yesterday I actually did take a trade out. I kind of hung out here and then got out at break even. So I actually got out here because at that point in time, I had went to bed, it spiked up, came all the way down, took my stop loss. Once I got into profit, I moved my stop loss up to break even. So I didn't really make anything off that. Ethereum had a couple of different things that were open to it, but just was not into trading a lot of crypto this past week. So as is. So now looking to gold. So there were several different ideas that came across it, but I did not trade gold this week. There were lots of different things that we're looking at and watching. It was on our watch list for this past week. As far as trending upward, and obviously there were two zones that popped off here and popped off here. There were great call outs from Jay. Great way to look at it. Silver, once again, we're still watching it. There's still been trade ideas out there, but it hasn't been on top of my list to trade. Just still fairly new to it. So here, US 30, we didn't take anything with it, but you can tell from the news that it gapped. We did hit new highs with it, and so I don't want to say I'm expecting a sell-off because I don't really necessarily expect a big sell-off. If you've watched in the past, over the past few weeks, it's actually had points in time in which it dropped down a little bit and then shot back up. And then it's done that multiple times across the board where it goes up and then it drops down a little bit, very, very small amount of pullback, and then it continues upward. So it's on my list to watch, but I'm being very cautious with trading it just because it's definitely one of the more volatile pairs that's out there for the week. NAS, same thing with NAS. Both of these pairs are playing really, really well together just based on the market because of the interest in rate cuts. Markets are pricing things in. Euro USD, so Euro actually had several things. It wasn't originally on my watch list. It did later on during the week move to it. But there were couple different zones that got marked up and called out. There was a buy zone here. This was another buy zone that we looked at. This one and this one actually came out for Thursday. So, on Wednesday we marked up here. We're actually ended the day here. So we thought about it could come down to here. It could always come back down to here. There was news that the euro had. So it obviously came back up, dropped almost down back to our secondary buy zone, and then popped back off again. Didn't take any trades on it. But GU, I played this pair very heavily this week. Had several different good time stuff that came out. So GU was definitely the pair that I played the most this week just because once I got into good trades with it, this was news, watched it pop all the way off, came back down, and as it broke through these areas that we had, fantastic trades. This one, Hanoi TP, this was actually on Thursday. Whenever I got into this trade in the morning time, about 10:30, it came all the way up here, and then I got out at the end of the day right here because I typically don't hold my trades overnight or into the next day. And then the next day it came right back to this zone again. And so as it did and broke through, I continued to where I had my original TP at. So just one of the ways that I like to trade. It did have zones marked up and it never came back down to here. So it's why I am taking it here just based off what it did. And if anyone was wondering, I don't have any of the indicators, anything that I turned on my charts on purpose right now. But GU was the pair that I played the most this week. UJ, it was on our watch list. USD CAD had several people I knew that played USD CAD this past week. Had a sell zone that was in here on Thursday. So mark it up on Wednesday. It came all the way up, came all the way back down, and it just kind of continued to play off that zone. USD CHF did not take anything there. AUD USD did not take anything on it, but we had some buy zones that were marked up. So they were actually at the first of the week, had two different zones that we had marked up here. It spiked down here on Tuesday, and it came all the way back up. And then Thursday, we did our markups on Wednesday. It came all the way down through this one, came back up again, came almost back down to the secondary buy zone, and it popped off again. NZD USD didn't have anything marked up on it. And as far as our minor pairs that we had this past week, GBP, JVP did not take anything there. I was on my watch list. This one was on my watch list, but one of the things that I took into consideration was just that Aussie had news at the first part of the week, their unemployment rate, and just wasn't overly friendly to me. I did actually end up playing on Euro AUD. So I marked this up, and then on Monday I got into the trade, came all the way up, and then as it came into profit, I moved my stop loss up and I got taken out. And I'm glad I did because there was news that came out on Tuesday, and obviously it would have hit my stop loss anyway. So I'm glad I took it out here. But as you can tell, this zone is where we were marked up at, and it obviously came all the way back down. So pair definitely worked well. There was another call out that came out that was Mike's idea for a buy area. I ended up not taking it though because it came out here. It did go into profit heavily, and then it came back down again, but it was just not on the top of my trade list. So this week we had several different things that we looked at that ended up being really, really good trades. GU is my most profitable one to take a gold trade, but it ended up being like a scalp. Took it on Wednesday night. As I got into it, came up, moved my stop loss, made a very small profit off of it. But so now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and get everything off my charts for this week. And I'm going to go ahead and start. In case you're wondering, I don't trade every pair every week, but I like to mark up the charts because it's good for practice. And if you're new to trading, you mark up charts as often as possible and let them do that. In fact, there was a CAD JPY. Ended up marking this up, and it never actually came down. This is my buy area, so I'm going to watch this week and see if it comes back down and fills this gap on this page or not. But as we go through, so we'll actually delete all that because I have it saved on another chart. Then we'll head up Bitcoin. In case you're wondering, this is actually something I typically do. As I go through, and even if I do markups on everything, I'm still going to delete them all the first of the week and start fresh. It's just a preference, not for everyone, but it just happens to be one of the things that so go ahead and get rid of all these lines. And these lines were from different things I was watching on US 30. And, I think one thing people forget is even if you trade with a real account, I'm going to trade with personal accounts and proper money. I think it's important to, if you're unsure about a pair, if you don't fully believe in it moving that way, don't take it. Like, it's not worth the risk. Take it on a demo account. Like, you still take trades on demo accounts, even if you're trading with real money. So we're going to, actually, I do want to sake. Copy this. 1 second, I'll post it into the group because this was for my week. I'm just posting my Telegram chat real quick. Just so everyone can kind of see what this ended up looking like. But obviously there were lots of pairs that we watched this past week, which I think is a good thing. You don't have to, just because you watch the pair doesn't mean you have to take trades in. I mean, there were multiple trades that come in on Euro USD at the same time, but if you're trading one pair that's like USD heavy, so like I was in GU, it didn't make sense to also take a trade in Euro USD because they're the same trade. it doesn't make any sense to add that one to um, to doing that at all. So just doesn't overly make things any better. Hang on a second. I think I accidentally deleted. Did. There it is. Huh. Wasn't paying attention. So anyway, get back to where we're at. Anyway, I'm not actually watching the chat, so if anyone happens to be saying anything, I apologize. But let's go back to AUD because we have a bunch of markups there. I did that again. I'm struggling today. That's not the right one. Let's go back. All right, we'll go from there for now. Anything else I need to do, I'll do later on. I need GJ. All right, so now that we have most of these done, NCT. All right, so what we do now is I'm going to head over here. We're going to head to BAM, and we're going to look at trending pairs that go the 1 hour. So what I'm looking for, in case you guys are wondering, is we call it AGB, Aqua Gray Blue. This is the 50 EMA, the 200 EMA, and the 800 EMA. In case you're just wondering what indicator this is, I actually use one called Bankheist. And whereas normally we'd have the 5 and the 13 as well, I'm just using these 3 primarily right now. And we look at it on the 1 hour time frame. So A is Aqua, Gray, Blue. They're in order. And then we'll also look at on the 4 hour time frame. and you want the same thing. You want the aqua, the gray, to be above the blue. So that would mean that right now we're actually looking for this to be a bullish pair. So we'll go ahead and mark it up. Then we'll go to Ethereum. See here, the gray is above the blue. The aqua is down here on Ethereum, so we would not mark that pair up. We're going to flag it. Let's take a look at gold on the 4 hour, aqua, gray, and blue there. So then we'll head to the 1 hour. Okay, there. So we're going to look for gold to be bullish currently. Silver is the same way, aqua, gray, and blue. We did have a zone on there marked up. Don't think it ever came down to it though. To the 4 hour. 4 hour. So same thing. You can tell this was last week. We actually had it marked up to be bullish as well. Oh. Head here, aqua, gray, blue on the 4, checking on the 1. So same thing. And I need to add US 30 back. I failed this week. Take the US 30, 1 hour, AGB. So I go to the 4 hour. And in case you're wondering, there's a reason why I actually do this. These are going to help me find the trending pairs for the week that I'm going to keep on a watch list. For the week, and just make it a little bit easier to look for. Really what this means is that if it's trending up, if we've got a bullish pair, then we're only going to look for buys on those pairs. It's definitely going to have pullbacks, and that's what we're aiming for. But the whole goal for that is to find those trends and that we know what we're looking for. So 4 hour, which I know these are all going to be AGBs, but for the sake of the video, we'll keep them going. Yeah. Look at SPX. I know there's keyboard shortcuts for this, but just keeping myself simple. So then we'll, over here, we'll lower the minors. All right, so let's check out EURUSD. So because we actually had it marked up, last week we didn't have it on the watch list. This week on the 4 hour, the aqua is coming back up to here, but we would not mark this pair up because on the 4 hour, it's not here. Now on the 1 hour, I do believe, yeah, it hits that goal for that one. So it's not going to be a marked up pair, but we're going to just kind of keep it on our watch list because the 1 hour is good, but the 4 hour isn't. So we're still waiting for that 200 EMA to cross over that 800 EMA to show that's wanting to continue bullish. On UJ, it is always bullish right now. And if you look, it just barely squeaked down the 1 hour, but we're going to mark it. Nope. AUD USD. On the 1 hour, we got it. Let's see if it's on the 4. Nothing. Yeah. 4 we're good. Okay, USD, CAD, nope. NZD, USD, nope. Head down into our miners. GJ on the 4 hour looks good. Let's check out the 1 hour. Yeah, so we get back on the list. And in case you're wondering, like this is part of just finding those trending pairs. So this one's down here. Let's check on the 4. So the 4 hasn't quite broken through that yet, but it's obviously went up and it's headed in a downward trend. So, but it doesn't make the cut. 4. So we will mark this one. So this one is definitely, it's in a very gnarly consolidation period. Like it hasn't really broken out of this range once it dropped off. So I'd be cautious, even though it's probably going to be an AGB, like it's going to make the cut. It's definitely going to be more of a scalping aspect of it, just because it's in this very gnarly consolidation period. But as per the rules, here, and on G, I think it was GAT. No, it was year AUD. So we'll get to that one. So AGB on the 4, on the 1, we're still good here. And then so this is anything with the yen right now is it's been bullish. So I'm super careful whenever if I take anything that has the yen in it right now. I'm just super cautious, which I should be. So this one's still slowly. NZD had some news this past week, so it's still slowly working its way down. There's news next week for I think it's GBP. Yeah, it's a heavy news week. They got inflation, so we'll see how it goes. But your NZD is not quite there on the 4 hour. On the 1 hour, I believe it is, but yeah. So it's starting to, as you can tell, it started to made its way back up, and it's starting to break down there. But we'll still be cautious with it as is. Your CAD, check the 4 hour. So your CAD goes on the list. All right, so your AUD, we actually had that zone or for there too. So on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour, it broke down to AGB. Let's see what it looks like on the 1 hour. Just still making a cut, but just like GBP AUD, it's in like this consolidation. Like it's not very big. I mean, I tried for that one earlier this week and then got stopped out at break even. So you can do the same thing. But if we're looking at this here, this past week there were several really good scalps that got called on it, which is ideal across the board. I mean, that one on Friday, granted, it went off at 7:30 in the morning, but that just, if you think about it, if you could have caught that afterwards, you would have got notified here and just ended the day with just a fantastic trade. And the way that we would have marked this one up here would have been there, stop loss just above that most recent high. And then we always shoot for a 2-to-1, which I believe we would have got right there. So you could let that one ride all the way to the end of the day, but it would have stopped there. And that would have just been a fantastic trade. So once again, it's on the list for this week, though. We'll keep it there. We'll actually probably see if that one plays again. And in case you're wondering what we'll look for in this is on the 30-minute time frame. We know that we're looking for sells, so we'll actually wait for it to pull back and then come back down. So just keeping that trend that it's going, but it'll pull back at some point in time. Here at Chef, it was green last week. It's probably going to be green this week too. Yep. And so I actually don't play every one of these pairs. Sometimes it's just I still like to mark them up. I still like to know what's going on with them, just because they may be affecting what another pair is doing. AEDJPY. It's going to be green. I know it. AEDCAD. It's been green 1, 2, 3 weeks in a row. It's probably going to continue to be green. Yep. Which is good. It just hasn't gave us any. It didn't give us any real opportunity because there was no real pullbacks, which is what we're looking for. It may be a trending upward pair, like you can tell it's been trending, but if it doesn't give us a pullback, it doesn't really give us an entry point. Now, what we could look at, like if we look at AEDCAD and we want to bring it down to like a smaller time frame, for instance. Like if we look at AEDCAD here. There were a couple opportunities that probably would have given us throughout the week. This right here, which was on May 17th, which I think was earlier this week. It did come down, and this is on a 1 minute time frame, mind you. It broke down here, and then when it gave us this next up arrow, which on the 1 minute time frame, this is crossing over the 200 EMA. That would have been an entry point that we could have rode it up. And obviously, figuratively speaking, if we would have taken that, if you would have gotten notified here and just let it ride, it still would have been a fantastic trade. It definitely would have been a swing trade, though, just because it's in consolidation. But it never came down. It never once again came back down and visited this low again. So definitely a plus side on that one. So really what we're waiting for is waiting for it to pull back. I prefer intraday versus scalping, but that's just a preference. So I would not have taken anything in that one. So there, that's I already have the answer to that one. Checks. 1 hour. Let's check it before. Yep. Wait. Yep. Looks like this one's just hanging around. Yeah, it just barely squeaked out. Like it's always doing. Like so, Swiss versus the yen. It was bullish last week. We got a pullback, and then we got a little bit of an upward movement, but I do not know if it was enough to. I lied. There was 3 days ago. So there it was. So the beginning of the week, it gave us one. That was a buy. It was fantastic. There was the pullback that happened on Wednesday, and then Thursday it gave a call out, but it would have came back down. Let's see when it stayed for 8 candles, which would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which would have been here. So it came back down and filled that gap, and then continued upward. So you could have taken that one. It would have been a nice little scalp. NZD, already know. Currently only looking for buys against anything with yen. New Zealand dollar versus CAD, 4 hour. Doesn't make the cut. Just it's going to. Like if it pulls back and then continues upward, next week we'll be looking at NZD CAD. On NZD Chef. Looking at it for there. So I'll take that, mark it up. All right, so now that we have the trends that I'm doing for the week, and I know what I'm looking for, next thing I'm going to end up doing is coming back over, getting rid of that. And then I'll actually start looking for order blocks. I come across it. These are on the 1 hour. Let's switch it to the 30. So definitely gonna look for some buys this week on euro. All right, so anyway, that's gonna be it for now. Really just wanted to mark up the charts and what I'm looking for this week, so I know what pairs I'm looking for. If they're green, I'm gonna be using those for in case you guys can't see. that one. Woo-doo. So if they got a green tag on it, that's actually one we're looking at. For buys, red tags are going to be for sells. We'll wait and see what happens for the rest of the week. So anyway, appreciate everyone hopping on and checking it out. And guess I should end this stream too.